I believe that Render token will break to new all-time highs by May 1st. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. My name's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to Waves Capital. Gonna keep this one short and sweet today, you guys. We're gonna kick it off by reading over this short article discussing a few of the bull and bear arguments for Render as we progress through the spring of 2024. We're then going to quickly touch on what I believe is the single most important event, not only for Bitcoin, but for the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem in 2024. And right now, it's less than 2 weeks away. It's pretty crazy, okay? These will then relay into the charts. I'm sure you know which direction I lean. It's very obvious by now just through this intro. Then we'll jump into the charts, talk some technicals. I want to talk about when I think Render could be breaking out and how high I think we could climb over the coming weeks as we move through the month of April. All right, you guys, before we get to reading, if you want to gain value from this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to join Waves Cap. And of course, if you do want to trade with me on a daily basis, had some freaking amazing trades so far this month, you guys. We're off to a strong start over at Waves Capital. If you want to become a member of the complete portfolio and daily trade alerts, it's the first link in the description, but more on that later. Let's get to reading. Render, Price Dilemma, Investor Confidence versus Whale Caution. This was written by Tiago A. and Ali M. from beincrypto.com. Okay, credit where credit's due. Let's get to reading. The Render Network. Price trends are unfolding a nuanced narrative. On one hand, an increase in the average coin age signals bolstered confidence among holders, hinting at a bullish outlook. On the other hand, the halt in whale accumulation since late March suggests a more cautious stance as some investors pause their investments. So after we read over a couple more paragraphs here, you guys, I primarily just wanted to touch on this just to give you guys my opinion on the pullback that we've seen since the all-time highs that we saw in mid-March. Been kind of in a lull for the better part of the past month. And pretty much I just want to summarize after reading this once again why this is just kind of par for the course in when we're dealing with the bull market, okay? At this juncture, Render is at a crossroads with its future direction, a bullish surge or a bearish downturn, resting on the developing market's trend strength. Increased Render holder confidence. Over the past week, the mean coin age, or MCA for Render, which measures the average duration that coins are held or remain unspent, has notably risen. Indeed, there has been a discernible increase in MCA, climbing from 350 on March 27th to 356 by April 4th. This shift suggests a prevailing inclination amongst investors to hold their assets longer, possibly forecasting price increases. Despite the rising MCA, the expansion in the number of addresses holding substantial Render amounts has leveled off in the last week. This change in whale behavior may signal a consolidation phase for the Render network, where the market reaches a balance between buying and selling pressures. This pause in whale accumulation could be seen as a period of market assessment or possibly reflect a cautious bearish sentiment regarding near-term price trajectory. Okay, you guys, and as I just alluded to before reading over those last few paragraphs, this is kind of just par for the course, right? We saw a massive run up. Render from, let's just go from February 1st, okay? From early February. February 6th, we were sitting at a price of $3.70. Just from February 6th, or I should say, we'll just go from right here, okay? January 25th, call it February 1st. Sitting at $3.75, give or take, right? In the span of about a month and a half, since once again we saw the all-time high set on March 17th, month and a half, we appreciated by almost 270%. All-time high was $13.70 from less than $3.70. Okay, Render shot up over $10. Regardless of what asset you're trading and how bullish you may be on the asset in the long term, personally, I'm still extremely bullish on Render token. Again, that'll be made clear not only in my recent videos, but as we talk about price targets after this. But regardless of, how high you think something could climb, how bullish you may still be on a project, it renders at $10. Regardless of whether you think it'll go to 100 to 200, 300, 1,000 someday maybe, which is possible. It would take a while, but it's possible. Regardless, you're still going to take some profits if you bought in at $1, sub $1, like I know a lot of us over at Waves Cap did. And you've over 13x your investment, right? You got to take some profits off the table, even if you still think something's going to climb. And that translates to many other realms of the portfolio. Those of you guys who, again, are members of the complete portfolio would know that. Even if you still think something's going to go up, the responsible move as an investor, trader, whatever you identify yourself as. You got to take some profits, okay? You got to skim some profits along the way. And that's what we see after some massive run-ups. You could almost call this a two-wave. You saw this little first wave, nice and organic, a little lull that lasted, a week and a half or two, followed by that second wave. Now, I don't want to say that coming back down. I don't think that's the case at all. Again, I think we're breaking a new all-time highs by May 1st. But after you see major price moves like this, again, Render this was, I think, before the Nvidia conference, which did, if you watch the last video, it did end up being a bit of a buy the hype, sell the news event, which we did speculate might be the case. Again, that caused some crazy price action. We saw some crazy volume. We jumped from 580 to $14. We over 2x in the span of about a week. So it's not surprising to see a little correction followed by a lull, get out of those overbought levels. Now, definitely more on the oversold side than overbought side, which I actually like to see, considering we have the Bitcoin halving coming up. So let's quickly just discuss just super briefly the Bitcoin halving, why it's important, why it's good for the entire crypto ecosystem, and then we'll talk about the what I foresee happening, a couple different price scenarios that I envision happening over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so Bitcoin halving, 13 days, 9 hours, 18 minutes, 41 seconds at the time of recording. That's obviously going to be different by the time you guys are watching this, but less than 2 weeks out from the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin halving is where the supply, the reward that is rewarded to Bitcoin miners for validating each block is cut in half, meaning that the circulating supply of Bitcoin, or the inflow of new Bitcoin to the circulating supply, will be cut in half. If you are aware of supply and demand economics 101, it's super 101. This is like the ground rule of supply and demand economics. If you have consistent demand, and even more so if you have increasing demand, the price of an asset will appreciate in value if the supply is cut. Okay, in this case, it's nice and even. It's a nice level, so right in half. Bitcoin's being cut. Okay, the block reward is being cut directly in half. That means that the new Bitcoin that are being pumped into circulation are being cut in half. This has historically been an extremely bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. Usually it's in the 6 months that follow the Bitcoin halving that Bitcoin really sees those rallies, that it really kicks into drive, that the supply and demand starts to be felt through the investor ecosystem for Bitcoin. It's usually in the 6 months that follow the Bitcoin halving itself. As the cryptocurrency, as crypto ages, as the entire space ages, as Bitcoin becomes more popular of an asset, more and more individuals are going to learn about the Bitcoin halving. They're educating themselves on what the Bitcoin halving is. And the more people are aware of an event occurring, again, this is 100% going to occur. Hopefully, if it doesn't, then I'm dumping all my Bitcoin. If this does occur, it's near 100% likely that this will occur, it can be priced into the markets. And the more educated investors become, and investors are more educated now than they ever have been, the more priced into the asset it'll become. Which is why I think going into the halving, probably starting now, because Bitcoin's looking good too. We're not going to look at Bitcoin today, but Bitcoin on the charts looking pretty good, looking promising. Does look like it's going to break out into the halving event, okay? And if we break out into the halving event, maybe the halving could be a buy the hype, sell the news event if we really start ripping to new highs if Bitcoin sees 80, 90K. But I do think that Bitcoin climbs into the halving event. I think that given how objectively bullish this is for Bitcoin, that we probably rally after the halving event as well if we don't rip into the halving event. Ultimately for Bitcoin, I'll just say that I do think we see about 100,000 plus six figures finally, six-figure BTC. By the summer, June, July, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it. And, obviously a six-figure Bitcoin is great news for the entire crypto ecosystem. Okay. Especially the winners, especially those that have been outperforming the rest, like our number one Render token. Okay. Render has seen, once again, a little correction. We've corrected, let's just get a new one of these guys, right? New price range. We've corrected from the all-time high of $13.80 to just yesterday, just above $8.75, 36% correction, which is really, that's about right in line with what is super normal. That's like the average correction. When you see parabolic run-ups like this in hype-driven, which objectively this was a hype-driven rally, that Nvidia conference, the AI hype. You can't say this wasn't hype-driven because it was. We saw a correction, 35%, like 35%, especially in crypto and all these trades we've seen over the past few years is, once again, par for the course. This is very normal to see when we get, high volume, hype-driven run-ups like this, parabolic price action, okay? Corrected out of those overbought levels. We are now, once again, as far as RSI is concerned, 1D RSI, we're closer to oversold levels than overbought. And on top of that, we see the 1D stochastic RSI, which is this bottom indicator where my cursor is hovering, curling up off of the bottom. That is good to see, especially as a double bottom pattern right here. That's good to see, especially with such a significant macro catalyst like the Bitcoin halving coming up, okay? Also, Render is sitting within a range of pretty significant support. Render held this line, this ascending channel for quite a while, for like a month or so. Back at the end of 2023, it has used these lines a bit as support and resistance a couple of times, including right now over the past week or so. And I don't think it's likely that we fall much lower than this, okay? My personal correction target for Render was the previous line of resistance that would be used as new support, this cyan line right here. We're just below that now, but again, all things considered, I think that there's a decent level of support right here. I think that it's unlikely that we get any more oversold than this, especially considering, once again, 1D stochastic RSI is just curled upwards. I think that Render breaks out over the next 2 to 3 days, maybe 3 to 4 days, and breaks above the line of resistance following that's been in play following the all-time high that we saw under a month ago. Okay, so a few weeks, this line of resistance has been holding us down. As soon as we break above this, let's just say if we can break at this point above 1050, I think it's pretty darn likely that new all-time highs follow within the week that follows, okay? As soon as we get above 1050, $11 just to play it super safe. I can't imagine it takes very long for us to see new all-time highs. And how high do those new highs take us? To be completely honest, I don't know. The AI hype is still here. Veritone, which I've been talking about a lot on the channel, is a small cap stock that overweighs capital in the investment in the options trading portfolio. I want to make it clear that we trade call options on this. In the month of March, in the past month, since Veritone announced their earnings, we've 23x'd our initial investment, which is pretty crazy. This is one of my best short-term trades of my entire career, if I'm being honest. 2,200% gain, 2,200%, 23x. So again, the hype behind smaller projects and AI, that's the intersection of crypto, AI, smaller market cap, promising project, tangible operational advances, which we're seeing in Render, and there are parallels to Veritone, the stock that I just discussed as well. You can see crazy things happen. Okay, crazy things can happen. That's why I almost don't even want to give a price target for this. I'm just going to stick to the target that I've had in place for a very, very long time, which is a market cap of $10 billion. I believe that translates super roughly. You can just go do the math for yourself. I'm not going to do it here. Roughly to a $30 Render token. Okay, like $25, $30 Render token. Because the supply is slightly fluctuating, $25, $30 per Render token would equate to a market cap for the Render project of $10 billion. And that is going to be, I would say, just my overall 2024 bull market target. Can we climb higher than that? 100%. Does Render have the potential to, again, reach $100 in the next this bull market cycle? Crazy things can happen. It could easily reach $100 this bull market cycle. But over the years, if the founder Jules Urbach, if the team does what they're doing now and just continues to innovate and continues to advance their operations and spread the good word of Render, then I see no reason that Render couldn't reach triple digits. If not this cycle, then the next cycle for sure. Okay, that's the video, you guys. For the last time, if you do want to trade with me on a daily basis, if you want the daily newsletters, this was my most recent newsletter. If you want my daily trade alerts, my macro analysis, which I cover, this is like every day, you guys. If you want all those positions that I just scrolled real fast past because I want to respect to the members, that's the first link in the description of the video. Once again, complete portfolio, daily trade alerts, email newsletters. You get everything that this box here entails. for 15 bucks a month or 40 bucks for every 3 months. Try it free. The reason I do a free trial is because I'm so confident in the product I provide, and it's pretty rare that people don't stick around. So if you do join, if you want to become a member of Waves Capital, then welcome to the team. Welcome to the winning team. And we really do look forward to having you. So appreciate it if you sign up. I appreciate you watching this video. And I'm pumped for what the month of April, May, June has in store for not only Render Token, but for the entirety of the crypto markets as the Bitcoin halving closes in. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.